and this will be like a new series of lessons going deeper into our consciousness and going deeper into real knowledge and awakening and all. And this is what we call the whole section, maybe for the next 8 to 10 months will be about real knowledge, beginning today. So what is real knowledge? Or Jesus and Pilate, when they had that conversation, somebody asked, what is the truth? And nobody could give the answer, what is the truth? And so we are going to see about true knowledge means getting to know the truth. And we cannot start any truth about whatever is there in the universe without first discovering the truth about ourselves. The greatest truth, the greatest mystery in the world is the mystery that you are living with. And like a nut, you are doing nothing about that mystery. You are living with a mystery. And therefore you are bothered about all the other things except let me think about the mystery. And that journey which you began 1 or 2 years ago is called a journey of awakening. But now awakening comes to the final episode or final chapter when you say, okay, I must awaken to the real and the whole truth of who I really am. Then everything takes its place. If you don't really get into that mode of knowing who exactly is this man or this woman, who exactly is this face that I'm looking at the mirror, who exactly is that? Is it what I have learned? Is it what I have not learned? Do I have to know something? That very questioning itself is the beginning of a quest. And you have begun that quest. So we have come to the last episode of this quest for the next few months. The final truth of you. The final truth about yourself. It's a beautiful thing. You are playing the game of love, pretending it is not love. Try to get that. You are love, playing the game of being something else. Try to and see if you can communicate with each other what you think about this. You are love, playing the game of being something else. See whatever comes into your mind. No, you can tell us all, yeah. Yeah. We are all searching like you.
I don't know, but I think we have the capability of being all love, but we spend our energy and our focus on all these other emotions, like being angry or hurt or sad, instead of giving love.
Being the truth of who you are. So you are now pretending not to be loved. Anybody else can add a minus or say, I think what you're saying is right. Yeah.
You're pretending to be ego.
Pretending to be ego, which is not love.
Which is not love.
What is the ego? Ego is a tool of separation. Love is the foundation of unity. So that's another like kaleidoscope and another view of the same thing. Anybody else?
I think when we say we're playing the game of something else, we're allowing the outside world to dictate who we are.
Who we are. So we are playing the game of saying, I don't know who I am, so you tell me who I am. Then after she says, you're a nut, you say, okay, thank you very much, I'm a nut. Or somebody says, you're a beautiful woman, okay, thank you very much. Or somebody else says, whatever.
We allow those labels to stick to us and make us who we
Yeah.
think we are.
Who we believe they
And
are.
then we prove them right.
Right? So you are
At
now
least you spend the
playing the
time.
game
Yeah.
of being something else. Anybody else want to comment on this?
I think we also define ourselves by material things, physical things in the world, what we have, maybe
Okay.
education, instead of focusing on love.
The truth, yeah. So we want to add something to which you cannot add anything. Yes. We add qualification, we add language, we add culture, we add education, we add power, we add money, we add I do not know what. So once you get into this, and when you go home, you can play this whole PowerPoint again and see what sense it makes. So this is the whole PowerPoint is of deep meditation. On each slide, you can meditate. So if you are love, then you remain as you were created to be. You were created to be love. And so you will always remain love. Always, 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 always. Can you therefore come to the conclusion that not for a moment you have not been loved, except imagine yourself to be something else. Not for a moment, from the day you were created, not when you were born, when you were created a long time ago, from that time till trillions of years till now, you are loved, and that can never be contaminated, can never be destroyed, can never be moved, can never be increased, can never be decreased, can never be changed. You remain therefore as you were created to be. You are forever love. Forever. And that is the meaning what I think when Christ said, what is the greatest commandment? Love, love, love. In short, he was saying, be as your Father created you. Be what you are. So can that be a commandment? Somebody has to command me to be a man. It's insane. Christ must have said, these people are insane. I have to tell them who they are. So not being who we are is stepping into insanity and believing that that is sanity. So how long are we going to live an insane life believing that we are sane? So therefore the truth is always to say, I'm in face of a mystery of which I do not know anything, and I'm pretending I know everything. Don't know. So you are and you'll always remain as you were created to be. Now, how were you created to be? Let's go back to the analogy of the ocean and the wave. Okay? So here are the ocean. Here you have the wave. Suppose. It looks like a boat. So this is the ocean, this is the wave. So the ocean is made of water. For example, ocean is made of love. You are therefore water. You are therefore love. If that is true, and it is true, you are exactly as God. The ocean is exactly like God. It is not different from God. It is not different from the ocean. It's not sunbeam is not different from the sun. It is exactly like as it was created you to be. Now, what is this? Love. Love is our life. So, love has been living through me. just as the ocean keeps on living through the wave, love, God, has been living through you. That's a new way of looking at it. Which means if love is equal to life and life is equal to love, what does it mean? Try to get an idea here. It is a deep thought. If love is life, and it is true, love and life are the same, and life is love, then what? Then if love has been living, if love has been living as love, love has been living your life, all your life, you have not been living your life. The wave has not been living its own life. The wave is living the life of the ocean. So far you got it. It's difficult to get this concept through. The wave hasn't got a life of its own. It has the life of the ocean. So the wave cannot live without the life of the ocean being in it. So you have never lived your life, but life has been living through you. Wow. What's the meaning of that? You have never been living your life, but life has... So all the time you say, it is my life, I can do what I want. If a woman will say, it is my body, I can do what I want with it. So, it is my life, I can do what I want with it. No, it is not your life. You have not been living your life. Life has been living through you. Try to understand that. Life has been, and it continues to live. Who is living through you? Life is living through you. You have not given yourself life to say, I am living my life. Come on, you did not give yourself life. You did not create yourself. You did not make yourself. The wave did not create itself. The wave did not make itself. So the wave has always to say, I am nothing. I am but an extension of the ocean. What is in the ocean? Water. I am water. What is in the ocean? H2O. I am H2O. Whatever is there in the ocean. And so, I am not living the ocean. The ocean is living me. The wave is not living the ocean. The ocean is living the wave, making the wave live. So life, you are not living your life. Life is living you. Get that. And you'll have a great change in your whole thought system. I'm not living my life. Life is living me. Then what happens? Then you become an observer of your life and saying, let's see what life is offering me in the next moment. Let's see what is offering me in the next moment. Or you go an egoistic life, I know the direction of my life. I know where I'm going. I know. If I get this job and if I get this partner, if I get this bed, if I get this car, I know where I'm going. I know. And all the time, silently, life is living through you, and you pretend that you are living your life. It's a beautiful thing. In this way, we come to understand the meaning of those terms that are so beautiful. God lives through me. I can't understand how, but you have been living through me and you'll continue to live with me. And therefore, it is no big deal if I continue to say, because it is happening, whether I want it or not, like it or not, thy will be done. And what is the will of God? The will of God, or the will of life, is to live through you. The will of God, the will of life, the will of the universe is to live through you. So if that is true, life, which is love, streaming forth from the source of all creation, has sought to live as you. Can you now conclude from this something? If life has sought to live through me, who am I? Who is life? Life is love. Who is love? God. So God is living through me. just as the ocean is living through the wave cannot live by itself, and everything about the ocean is there, and so God is trying to live as me. Never has there been a false self, except in your imagination. The reality has always remained the reality. The reality is you're an extension of the ocean. The reality is you are life living through you. Never has there been an ego, except in your imagination. There's no real ego. There is no real ego, except the thing that you have created there. So what are you? The beautiful statement, I love this. You are the thought of perfect love in form. You're the form of perfect love. So get that. You're the form of perfect love. What happened to you? Okay. And the last statement there. The great secret of your human existence is that it has existed nowhere except in the movie screen of your mind. Your whole existence has not existed. You have always been perfect love, glowing like a flame of a candle, glowing, 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 all the time thinking of somebody else. And right now we are thinking we are this, we are this. The reality is we are not what we think we are. That requires deep contemplation. That requires a real surrender. That requires what the Buddhists and all do for years together to come to that realization. Do dreams have an effect? So that was what we were telling. So the ego is a dream. Our body is a dream. Our relationships are dreams. They are an illusion. The reality is you are a glowing flame of love forever. As long as you choose to be identified with a dream, they have an effect. So what is a spiritual life? What is life as the Christ? What is life as the Buddha? What is life? It is a life wherein I break my identification with the dream, which means to wake up from the dream, which means to be enlightened. So after this long term you have spent with us, it is a time for us to at least not wake up from our deep slumber and get into drowsiness and say, I'm getting up now, I'm getting up now. So, as long as you choose to be identified with the dream, wow. So that means if you can take everything that is happening in your life as if it's a dream, not real. What is real is what you choose to be. And what you choose to be is the thought of love in the form of a human being. I am that. All that needs to be remembered is that you, as you thought yourself to be, actually never existed. That's what is called Maya. So actually never existed, except it exists in our mind. So everything exists in our mind and it doesn't exist in reality. That was an illusion. Another thing I learned during this 2 or 3 weeks in quantum physics, quantum mechanics is this. So we believed, I was growing up and all my years till the age of 50, 55, 65, that the smallest thing is an atom. And in the atom are electrons, protons, neutrons, etc. swimming in the space of an atom. Now science is saying that is fake. Science is saying that is fake. What are they saying? It's saying these are matter. Okay, this is matter or particles. These are particles. But every particle arises from a wave. And what is the wave? Wave is a possibility of becoming a particle. Everything arises from a wave. So, and wave is a possibility of becoming a particle. So, before the atom existed, there is the wave. And wave, therefore now, one physicist had drawn and shown it. Wave is like a small zero pulsating and becoming a bigger zero and becoming a bigger zero. And zero, zero. That is now the reality according to science. It's a pulsating field of energy. And we never notice it because the idiots that we are, we don't notice the beating of our own heart. When you become sensitive to the beating of your own heart, maybe you will hear the heart of the universe beating. Very deep, I hope you'll get it, but I know you'll get it if you go deeper and deeper into it. So this is true therefore. So this is a field. So the bottom line of the reality is it is a field of energy, into which that energy then condenses into matter. And that energy is in you, is in you, is in you. That energy is therefore we are swimming in the field of possibilities. And what is God? God is a field of possibilities. In Him, everything is possible. Wow. So now we come to the bottom line. We are actually, science is making us touch God by bringing Him down to this level of our more or less understanding that what is a particle is a matter, but for a matter to come, it only comes through energy. And then they went to the Big Bang, and the Big Bang was a burst of energy, which then became matter and became suns and moons, and everything else came from a dot of energy. So that is that is the real bottom line today. Maybe science will go further and tell us something else, but the bottom line of everything in this universe is a field that is pulsing, going up and down, up and down, up and down. So you have absolutely no knowledge of where your end will be found. I gave you this. Where does the sun end and the moon and the sunbeam begin? Do not know. So you do not know what you will experience in the next moment. You do not know. Do you know what you are going to experience in the next moment? There might be somebody who's coming there. There might be a flash of lightning. He says, this guy may suddenly stand up. Somebody might bang the table. Somebody might go to sleep. I don't know what the next moment is going to give me. I don't know what the next moment is giving me. But this I know, that there's going to be another moment. But what that moment will bring, I do not know. And that is a proof that there is something else living in me, bringing the next moment to me. So that moment, so life is living through me, bringing the moment, and living that moment, bringing that moment, and living that moment, and bringing that moment. I have no clue what the next moment will be, but the life of God who is living in me is bringing me that moment and feeding it to me. My experience, therefore, of life is life leading me into the next moment, and I am experiencing that moment and going to the next moment and going to the next moment. That is why I told you in the lessons long time past, the real is only the present moment. What life is giving you now is real. So the ego, our imaginary self, lives in the past and lives in the future and not in the moment. This is the way when you say, I am life and life and life. I am not living life. Life is living through me and life is offering me this moment. And I go through it. And it's offering me this moment and I go through it and I go through it. So now you are not directing your life. You are like a child in a toy shop saying, what am I to take next? There are so many toys here. There are so many toys here. These toys. So life becomes an acceptance of the joys of the Lord. The joy of my Lord is my strength. The joy of my Lord is my strength. The joy. So it may bring me the cross. It may bring me an icing on the cake. It may bring me a happy marriage. It may bring me cancer. It may bring me anything. But this is what life is providing me with experience after experience after experience after experience. Am I going to live the experience or am I going to pass it by? Last year, in the beginning of the first batch, I gave you those keys of the kingdom. The first key of the kingdom was desire. So you have used desire and you created the dream of separation. You desired to be separate from him. You desired to be a woman, I desired to be a man. I decided to be a priest, you decided to be married, you decided to be a Jew, I decided to be a Catholic, whatever it is. You have used the ending to have the dream of separation. And because you have chosen the dream of separation, your life has been guided by fear, judgment and doubt. You remove separation, you'll not be afraid, you'll not be separation, there'll not be doubt. When are you going to remove that fear of separation, of awaken from the dream of separation? Desire has been necessary for you to be willing to face your illusions. Right from the first course we started, in order to wake up, the first key is to desire. Do you desire to be awakened? Is that your bottom? Is that the foundation of your life? I desire to be awakened. I desire. And have you been faithful to that desire? Desire is required to want to awaken. Desire has been with you to see the uselessness of judgment. Any questions on this?
Very deep stuff, Father.
Hmm?
Very deep.
Very deep, yeah. So desire is if you have no desire, if you had no desire, you will not come here. End of the story. So again, let's go deeper. So you had a desire to come here, okay? Why did you desire to come here? What was your desire to come here?
To become more spiritual.
Okay, to become more spiritual. So that's your intention. So we'll go to the intention. Intention was used by you to imprint upon the mind the beliefs and perception of the date of your separation, dreams of separation. So you had the intention first. What intention you had? That we are separate, that I am different, that I am unique. And so you formed a whole world according to that desire that I am separate and I want to be separate. Now you said, I don't want to be separate. So and because you wanted to be separate, you had that. Now you are going to use the same intention to awaken from time and from fear. So, in the first place, you use intention to imprint upon you the dream of separation, the beliefs and perception of the dream of separation. So that was your intention. Now you are using the intention to awaken from the time. So how do you awaken from time? to supply you with the experiences and going through that, and going through that, and going through that. So life, therefore, is not about getting old, is not about waiting to retire, is not about any other thing, but life is like with an open mouth and tongue, waiting for the next ice cream to go down. That is life. And because of that, we have allowance. Remember those four things: desire, intention, allowance, surrender, humility. So these are the keys I'm bringing to you once. So you use those keys to become real for you, to allow the dream to become real. Because you have the power, you created worlds, and believe it was not you that did it. This is a great line. Everything in your world you created first. What did you create first? Or we created? I don't want to put the blame on you. I am also part of it. What did we create first? That's what we created. Separation, separation, separation. Separation of nations, separation of families, separation of people, separation of cultures, separation of sexes, separation of everything. So, and you created the separation, and then you said, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Who else can do it? Separation is in your mind. And if separation in your mind, can we take it out? If it is in my mind, I can't take it out. I have the power over my mind to do what I want. Just as with the power of my mind, I created a dream of separation, I now created a dream of unity, where I don't look at Corinne as a woman from any whatever culture that she's coming, or myself as an Indian, but that is removed. The dream of separation is over. I desire to see her as part of this wave of the ocean, of which I too am a wave. So, you now need allowance to transform you to feel what you did not want to feel before. What you did not want to feel before? Unity. What you want to feel before? Separation. What did you want to feel before? Differences, no unity, and all that. Divisiveness. So now you can change that and allow yourself to see differently, where once you insisted to see only in a certain way. If you can, I want you to go home and write 3 or 4 lines or 6 lines, at least 6 lines. How am I going to see my sister or my brother or my uncle or the world differently? How am I going to see it? And stick to that decision. How am I going to, how do I desire to see the world? How do I desire to see the world? I have desired to see the world as separate. Now I'm changing my dream. Today, 10th of March, I'm changing my dream. I now desire to see the world and everything in it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And keep that desire. Every day keep that desire, every minute by minute. Let that desire, let that intention allow you to go into feeding yourself with the experiences of life, and you yourself becoming awakened radically. Allowing has taught you to bring forgiveness to this world. What's the meaning of to bring forgiveness to this world? So in the dream of separation, I see myself as a Catholic priest, and I see that woman there as a Jew. Now I decide. What do I decide? I bring forgiveness. Forgiveness means what? Look at Celeste, not as a Jewish lady, and not look at myself as a Catholic priest. They have no meaning at all. But to look at her as a form of love, and to look at me as a form of love, that is forgiveness. This is radical forgiveness. I'm not forgiving her for not giving me lunch. I'm not forgiving her for not saying sorry. I'm not forgiving her for... No. those are all rubbish. I'm forgiving her because I saw her as what she was not. And now I decide to see her as what she really is. Thank God for that. He is opening my eyes to say that this person, I'm not even saying woman, this person is mine. This person is life. This person is love. This person. So now, how do I treat her? Do I continue treating her as something separate? Or do I continue, at least I may not treat her, but now my vision of her has changed. That is forgiveness. Many people, even after in my class, have not understood the meaning of forgiveness as I am teaching it. Forgiveness is to be no longer to see this guy as a guy sitting on the chair with a grey hair, blah, 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 blah. And now forgiving him, not because he did something wrong to me, but because I saw him wrongly. Forgiveness is to withdraw the seeing somebody wrongly and beginning to see him rightly. Get that? Forgiveness is to stop looking at Sherry as the wife of Chris, as Sherry working in Walmart, as Sherry as a Filipino lady. And so now I forgive her by looking at her as I should really look at her. The form of love in a human being, as a human being. In that, she has not harmed me in all this. Can you see that? So that's why I think I told you, God never forgives us. Because He sees us as we are. So in that radical way, God never forgives us because He sees us exactly as who we are. And that's why we say during our Mass, we say, Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. To take away the sins of the world means to take away everything that shows me that Jean is separate. Taking away all that and seeing her as not separate. So allowance has taught you to do that. The last of the keys of the kingdom is to surrender your illusions and to tell yourself, I'm living in a world of illusions. I'm not who I am. I'm not what I think. You once surrendered to your illusions. You surrendered to them. You allowed illusions to become real and to dictate your life. Now, you surrendered and let your intention be to live the dream. You surrendered and allowed your desires to be directed by the ego. Now you can surrender the opposite. You don't surrender to your illusions. You don't surrender and make your illusions real. You don't surrender and make your intention to live the dream. Now you can change your surrender and I say, I surrender to that. Final surrender. You're going to do it this week. In surrender, you look upon a perfectly harmless world. Even if there is coronavirus, you look upon a perfectly harmless world in which there is neither life nor death. It is just an experience that we are undergoing and you go through that experience. In surrender, you look upon the going and coming of this world as perfectly empty. Like the Buddhist, that is Maya, that is Maya, that is Maya. It can do no harm to me. I fall down from the mountain and break my bones. It has not really harmed me. It has harmed my body. And so, what the heck? In surrender, there is no obstruction to the flow of experience. So, I told you that you are not living life, but life is living you. So, you allow the flow of experience to go, and your life becomes a tasting of every experience that comes your way. In surrender, the self has surrendered the mind to accept the only reality that there is only God. Allow this to sink. The real reality, there is only God. There is no chair, there is God in the form of a chair. There is no computer, there is God in the form of a computer. There is no Jerry, there is God in the form of Jerry. Everything. So what is this? This table is a form of pulsating energy become a piece of matter. The bottom line is it is energy. And what is energy? Energy is consciousness. And what is consciousness? Consciousness is life. And what is life? Life is God. So there is only God. We are one in the one. We are all one in the one. We are all one in the one. And therefore, if there is a mission, talking from the human point of view or from the egoic point of view, if there is a mission is to reach out, to create unity wherever we go, at whatever cost it brings to us. To bring about unity at whatever cost. To bring about unity. So our mind should be working only in this direction. I'm going to this, and how can I make that person happy? How can I'm going to, I'm here in this world to bring about unity. And in that way, I'm destroying the dream of separation. How do we destroy the dream of separation? Unless I become an instrument of unity. And then you show, because you feel that you're united, so how can you have a judgment? How can you have condemnation? How can you have a separation? How can you have? And so when you see two persons fighting and having separation, you will go and put yourself and say, if you want, you can get angry at me. If you want, you get angry at me. There's a beautiful story I told in the children's mass about Dominic Savio. Dominic Savio is a Catholic saint who became a saint at the age of 13 or 14, 12 or 13 or 14. Very young, he became a saint. He was studying, he was in the school of Don Bosco, another saint. And I'm a member of the Don Bosco congregation. So, he died at the age of 13, and within 3 or 4 years, he was the fastest saint and the youngest saint in the world, Dominic Savio. And one of the stories that I told to the children is, you know what? The teacher had not come to the class, and those times, say about 80 or 90 years ago, the classroom was full. There were over 25, 30 children, or maybe 40 children. And when the teacher came back, the garbage was on fire. Somebody had, children. So the teacher came, who did that? So because whom to catch? The most mindless guy was Dominic Savio. He did it. So the teacher punished him. Since the whole class said he did it, the teacher, okay, you go out of class, call your parent, whatever punishment he gave. Later on, the teacher came to know that he didn't do it. So the teacher called him and said, you didn't do it, why didn't you say so? So Dominic Savio told him two things. First of all, you didn't ask me. And he said, secondly, he says, somebody had to be punished. If it is me, no big deal. Wow. The age of 12. Somebody had to be punished. If it is me, no big deal. Another story of his again was there were two groups of bullies or gangs in his village, or in the village where he was, and they were always fighting. Some of the cities, they have these gangs and all. They're always fighting, throwing stones at each other. One day he saw them fighting and he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. See now his joy for unity. He went somewhere in the classroom and all, and there was a cross cross there. He took the cross and went over, saying, throw the stones at Jesus or at me, but not at each other. Throw the stones at Jesus or at me, but don't throw the stones at each other. They dropped the stone that went. So what was he? An apostle of unity. He could not bear to see people fighting. So whatever was in his strength, he did. And he could not bear to see his classroom being punished, so he took the punishment. That is called being an apostle of unity at the age of 12. No reason that, I know only these two stories, they made him a saint. The awakened mind that abides in perfect knowing no longer obstructs. No longer obstructs, no longer say, I don't want this, I don't need this must happen, that must happen. No if, and buts. Does not obstruct perceptions, feelings, thought, experiences. Whatever comes, I'm ready to accept. I do not prejudge anything. What I say, this is my experience right now. It is hurtful, it is painful. I wish I didn't have it, but I'm going through it. That is how we go through various experiences. Because this is a part of my being, and my life is leading me to that. Life is leading me into that. I'm not going into that. Life is leading me into that. So, do not seek to change anything. How much of our life we want to change and change and change. Especially, we want to change people. We want to change people. Let us therefore come to, unless, how did Jesus change the people? He went into the temple and he took the whip and he said, my house is not a house of money making, it's a house of prayer. All you guys get lost and all. So what did he do? He changed that situation. But why did he change it? Because again, he was guided by life itself to take action. When you get that, then you're so solid, you're in solid ground that you don't mind the whatever happens after that, because you know I've listened to the voice of life, and life led me to this, and if I get this, life is also leading me through that. So everything becomes an allowance to allow everything to happen. It only wants to abide in its own nature and allow life to flow from that nature, dancing as millions of forms. Anybody understood this? The awakened mind only wants to abide in its own nature and allow life to flow from that nature, dancing as millions of forms. So everything is a form, and every way you say millions of forms, you take all those forms and say this is life for me. So, and the last one, and I end with the last one. You have never looked upon another. I've never looked at me, but I've always seen God. Can I say it with sincerity? And this is called being awakened. I've never seen Celeste, but I have seen God. But I believed in my craziness that this is Celeste. I've never seen Corinne. I've always seen God, but because I'm a nut, I believe that is Corinne. Imagine, at the end of the day, you're able to tell yourself, I moved with the forms of God the whole day. I moved and I lived and I talked and I shook hands or I showed elbows or everything I did was by seeing God the whole day. You have never looked upon another human being. You have always seen only the self, only God. So why don't we accept that reality instead of putting a false image on that? Bye.
Thank you. I wanted to share something with you, Father, and
Start.
with class. My niece, she does CCD here. And
Amelia.
Amelia had her reconciliation on Saturday. Did she tell you this? Did you hear about this?
Not she, I think the mother sent me an email.
Oh, she did. So she cried all week because she was so nervous. She cried. I happened to go to and see her, and I said, Amelia, you did your first degree. She said, Titi, I did my first, and she said, and I cried since Wednesday. I was so scared. I even cried inside. And I said, but you know Father Nelson. She said, I know, but I was so scared. And I said, what happened? She said, well, I can't tell you, but I told him 5 things. I said, no, you don't have to tell me. She said, this is it. I feel like a whole new person. I was like, wow, Amelia. She said, I feel like a whole new person, Titi. I was so impressed.
Imagine that a 5-year-old girl telling me her sins.
Oh.
Yeah, she said,
And she was so scared that I would be a monster. You sinner.
I said, well, what did Father Nelson tell you? That you now feel like a whole new person? She said, I don't remember, but I feel like a whole new person. It's like a whole new person.
What a great experience.
I know, it was really wonderful, she said.
No, 3-4 parents also said the same thing here. Our children were so it was a real moment of meeting God, and that's the whole idea, not to scare
It
people.
was so cute. It was really cute. It was sweet. So,
She called you Titi.
she calls me Titi. Yeah, Titi.
You all want this?
Yes.
Okay, I'll send it tomorrow.